Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Alrighty. Hi, good afternoon. Hope everybody is well. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, I still have a lot of folks who need to do sales and classifications in their pod. I don't want to keep adding new things on. So we need to make sure everybody has done all of the Nearpods. I've put in grades for ecosystem. What is an ecosystem and biodiversity? So just make sure that not only five people have done cells and classification. So please work on those today. If you've already worked on those, just continue to work with the study guide. I'm going to pull up another section of the study guide. Like I said, I'm trying not to pile a whole lot on you, but we are coming up on next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, this week, milestones start this week. Your biology test is next Tuesday. So we do want to make sure that we're getting as much exposure as possible to these practice questions. Um, I'm going to pull up. Still waiting for folks to come in. We're missing quite a few people. All right, so I put in that extra question about keystone species because most of you skipped that question on the biodiversity one. So make sure that you go back and answer that one. Complete biodiversity and ecosystems, and then cells and classification Nearpods. Make sure those are all done. All right, that's what it was. And with the keystone species question, it asks you, what is the keystones? Why is it important? You need to just need to explain specifically why it's important. What happens when you remove a keystone species? Most of you are still just telling me there's a big impact on the ecosystem when you remove the keystone species. That's not telling me anything. I need to know what kind of impact. What do you mean by big impact? When what happens when the keystone species leaves or is extinct? That's the kind of answer I need to that question. And most of you are not, mostly, like I said, most of you, it's because they're large impact on their ecosystem. Their removal can cause changes. But I need to know what do you mean by that? Why are they so important? So please look at that question again before you submit it. Most of you have not. I only had 3 people to answer the question, but um, make sure that you have done that. So like I have no grades. I'm about to put in grades for the cells Nearpod. Wednesday is Earth Day, so I have an Earth Day activity for you to do on Wednesday. So like I said, I'm trying not to create an extra activity. But that is an activity that you will have to do. All right. Um, so today we're calling the answer to the keystone species question and making sure you get your sales and classification Nearpods done because those progress reports go out tomorrow. Those grades are already in the column. So you want to make sure that they're not missing when they do your progress report. All right, so there's that clear. Everybody should be working on the keystone species question and cells and classification nearpods. The link, the codes for those. And again, once you start a Nearpod, you need to finish it because if you come out, it's going to make you start all over again. And I'm going to take the grade that shows up. So if it's an incomplete grade, it's an incomplete grade because you didn't spend class time to do class work. That's the only way. There is enough time to get that done. So if you need to start all over again, then you need to start all over again. But start so that you can finish. Goodness. Good afternoon. Oh my goodness, why is this acting? There you go. Hey, how you doing? All right, they are finishing up anything that has not been finished before. That's the keystone question. I think you've already done. Yes, you have the class cells and classification nearby. That is, so you've done that already. Just make sure you've done and I think you did that too. Um, But I'm trying not to add in something else before Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to do an Earth Day project. So what I'd like you to do is go back and look at, if I can get my grade book to unfreeze. I put a list of study questions in the same folder as the online questions. Look at those questions, please. Those are essay questions for you to look at and try to write answers to. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to grade this assignment and my grade book is stuck. There we go. Okay, unstuck. All right, so again, make sure you answer the keystone species question. That was the one you all skipped on the biodiversity Nearpod. And again, it's worth 5 points. Give it a 5 point answer. Don't just tell me they're important to the ecosystem. That is not an answer. If they weren't important, I wouldn't ask you. All right, I want to go. Mm, okay, I can do that. I will unlock the Earth Day thing. Let me see. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and share that with you. First, let me make sure that it's in the module. All right. That's true. Um, Thank you, Chris, for bringing that up. Most of you might have a test on Wednesday, so I'm going to let you get a sneak peek at this Earth. Where'd it go? Earth Day Challenge. Yeah, Wednesday is day one of the milestone. So you probably, all right. So if you're finished with the other things, you can get started on, and this is a project, so it's not due until after you finish your milestone. So you can work on this in between, but it also will give you some review topics as you work on it. So I have added it to the module. So it's open now. So right after the question on keystone species, if you click the next button, you'll see the Earth Day Challenge. And that is also helping to review for the test. So again, Earth Day is on Wednesday. They normally cover things that sustainability, which is looking at what can we do to save our planet and make life livable and comfortable for for your generation and the next generation. So the questions for you have been divided up, ecology and biodiversity, human impact. So these are topics that you just covered. Water and water pollution, climate control and biology, pollinators and food webs. And conservation biology, gene adaptations, and an Earth Day reflection. So this is a worksheet, and this is the rubric, how it's graded. It is 20 points. You do have 8 things to fill in. So as you answer them, be thinking I'm reviewing for the test. All right, so that is open and available to you. So again, use it as a study tool as well as it's a graded assignment, but it's not due as far as in the grade book until after next week after your exams are done. But you can get started on it now because it will help with review. But finish your cells. If you have not, because I'm like I said, after today, I'm gonna put zeros in because I feel like some of y'all are in class and not in class. You're doing other things. If I can get 5 people to finish everything, I don't know what's happening with the rest of y'all. Okay, you have cells and cell classification, and I got 5 people who have completed it. So if you haven't completed it, please make sure that you do so. Do that first. If you finish that, then you can start looking at the Earth Day worksheet. So as you can see, it's going to cover ecosystem, cells, genetics, and environmental science, all the things that you need to know for your test, which again is next Tuesday, the next Monday, the 27th. So that sounds like I might not even see some of you all because Wednesday test starts in the morning. You have to be to St. Mary's for the test. All my little thingies have disappeared. Okay, thank you. Now do your other 2, sales and classification, because I didn't have a score for you. All right, so that is open. Stop sharing and do attendance. Then I will start adding additional scores in. Thank you, Brandon. Brandon this is the first answer, and I'm not gonna read it out loud because y'all will copy. This is the first answer that actually touched on all of the key points of a keystone species. So good job, Brandon. Troy, check your chat message. Kingsley, check your chat message. Gracie, check your chat message. Nearpod score, so see a lot of people doing a lot of things other than biology. So we'll see how that's going. Again, you can start that Earth Day project, and that is also review. That will help you. I tried to make sure that they align with the topics that you need to know for the test. So I would get started on that, not just sit doing nothing. Folks, I still don't have everybody, and I'm not going to ask again. You haven't done your uh, cell function Nearpod. I'm going to put the score in as 0 because that should have been finished. All that one was where you had to just label the parts of the cell. That wasn't even a quiz. Like I said, I don't know. This class is the only class that does this, where you come to class and you do something else. And I'm going to put the grades in as is, because that's your choice. not going to keep running back and looking. When I'm looking for the grades, that's when it should be there. I'm not going to make multiple trips to look for grades for things that you should have completed already while you were in class. Same things. Let's see. Grades going as is. folks, it's time to go. I put in all the zeros for all the folks who didn't do it. I'll see you next time.